Welcome back to Talkin' Shit, where we are talking all sorts of shit. Schitt's Creek, that is. Today, we are talking about Season 5, Episode 4, The Dress. And as always, I'm Jess Sterling, and I'm joined by someone who loves to sing some Mariah after he's had some polar bear shots, Stuart!
Gosh, that's quite the thought. What would my Mariah song of choice be? The Christmas one is the go-to.
Yeah.
I think everyone knows the lyrics to that.
Everyone knows those lyrics.
Mariah's got old school bangers, but none that I would think are really karaoke, right?
Let's see. We Belong Together. I feel like that could be karaoke.
That could, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what when a hero. What's that one? The Hero, right? When a hero comes along.
Yeah.
That one. But is it a bit of a belter? I imagine if you had enough gin, you get a bit emotional. Maybe that could work.
Sure. I think there's some options there. But I love the continuation of David loving Mariah Carey.
Yeah. He's I can't remember what she calls her fans. Carey berries or something.
No, hold on. What are Mariah Carey's fans called? The what? Lambs or Lamely?
Lambs. Yeah, because I know that from Drag Race because they had a awful Mariah Carey challenge.
Lamb and Family. Apparently, it's a combination of lamb and.
That doesn't sound too great.
Lamely. Anyway, already 2 seconds in, and we are very distracted. Stuart, what do you think about this episode? The dress.
So funny. So funny.
Yeah.
Some really stupid things going on. But David doing karaoke is something that I never knew that I needed until it happened. And I'm so glad it did happen because it's the funniest thing. I want David on a night out seems like you get enough booze into David, it'd be great. So much fun.
That's the thing. He becomes much more social, right? Tammy, you want some champagne, Tammy?
Some champagne.
I love. What does he say? He's like, "Oh, warm up the mic. I'm coming back up to finish my set," as if he has a gig at this karaoke bar. I love it.
It's so good. I love it, and I kind of like the fact that no one really comes along and says to David, "Oh, he's it's been awful" or anything like that. I kind of think that maybe there is truth to it because Tammy was there for the whole endeavor. Tammy went along with it.
I feel like David is a bad singer. I feel like he's a bad singer, but he's one of those people where you're if you're watching karaoke and he's up there and he's vibing and putting his entire ass into it, then you're you got to give it up for him. You got to appreciate the energy.
One of the requirements for karaoke is to be bad. If you're good at singing, do not do karaoke. It's so embarrassing. If you are good singer,
good at singing, don't do karaoke?
Yeah. Cut that out. Karaoke is there for people who can't sing to belt out songs they've always wanted to belt out in front of an audience and not be judged. If you're a good singer, you come up there and you start giving it all bells and whistles, all of oh no, cut that out.
Yeah. I think there are levels. I think you can't be Mariah Carey and doing karaoke, right?
Yeah.
But you need to be able to keep up with the beat and have some semblance of rhythm. You need to there's a threshold. You need to pass a certain threshold to do the karaoke, and then there's a point where you're too good. As an example, went on a cruise, love attending karaoke on a cruise. It's the best. It's so much fun. And there was this woman, and she was really good. It was okay, bitch, you know you're good, And she was really, really good. The problem was, so there's a time slot for karaoke on a cruise. You only have an hour or an hour and a half. Well, also, we could see the line, and we see in the line, there were 2 cowboys. And we're dying to know what song they're going to choose. We just needed to know. These big hulking cowboys. And we're what are they possibly going to sing? Well, the problem was by the time they signed up, there were already so many signups. And this bitch who was Mariah Carey not lookalike, sing-alike, whatever, sound alike. She had 2 songs And she was like, oh, I said I don't need to do the second one, but my friends are insisting. And you're too good for this. Get out of here.
Yeah. No, I feel like you have to give way. You have to share space at the karaoke. You can't pull
Exactly.
focus. You get one brief song where everyone's attention is on you, and then
Yes.
you shuffle away, tail between your legs, because you suddenly are so mortified by what you've just done. That's the
Yeah.
true essence of karaoke. And I feel
That
unless you
is
walk
it.
off
Yeah.
that stage with a sense of shame, then it's not right. If
Yes.
you come away with people insisting you do a second song, which I kind of
Yeah.
think that that's a lie on their part, because no
It
way.
was probably only her friends that said it. Here's the thing.
Enablers.
Karaoke is a whole vibe. And I'm very judgmental when I watch karaoke because I'm a woo girl if you're good. If you're good, I will woo the shit out of you. Okay. I'll be like, woo! I'll go crazy because you're good. The people that I cannot stand is a different cruise I went on. There was this family of like all blondes. and it was like twins or triplets or something. And then there was like another sister, and then there was like a mom. And we were on a cruise in Greece, and the amount of ABBA songs I heard, it was too damn many. And they did, I think they did Mamma Mia. And they had, I'm not kidding, Stuart, I feel like they had choreographed certain things. And I was like, it's not cute. It's a little pathetic.
That is such like British mum energy. Is ABBA, like, ABBA is the go-to, I think. It's like
Yeah.
we love ABBA over here. Were they British, do you reckon?
Oh no, they were
People that were singing.
American.
Oh,
They looked like
really?
they were from like Iowa or something, you know.
Culture in Iowa. I mean, let's go. Let's praise that. Like,
No, but it's too on the nose when you're on a Greek cruise and people keep singing ABBA. Like,
oh yeah, yeah,
stop.
yeah. They clearly watched the film, had the fantasy, and they're like, yeah, they're feeling it. Yeah.
What's the other song? There's like a Pompeii song that people did a ton too because we stopped in Pompeii. So that
Pompeii
was really
song.
annoying. Yeah, what is it? There's a Pompeii song. It's like do da do da da do da.
Oh, that one. I thought you meant
Yeah.
like a real karaoke. That's not a real karaoke song, though.
Exactly.
No.
So why did
Yeah.
they sing it for karaoke?
Oh, get out. No. No, you sing classics or you don't sing at all. Like,
Exactly.
don't bring any modern stuff here.
I better
And
hear
I
Sweet
say,
Caroline when I'm listening to karaoke. That's all I gotta say.
I went to a wedding recently. Gosh, we are really deviating right now.
It's
But went to a
fine.
wedding recently, and one of the barmaids that was there, and she goes, "I hope they don't play Sweet Caroline." And it came on like next song, and then she got really angry because apparently there's like a thing where people sing like so good, like midway through, and it's not even in the lyrics. And every
You
time they did it,
always do.
okay, I'm not one of those people, it seems. And it like it happened, and I could hear her screaming in the back because she was so angry.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me get into an episode recap before we dive too far off the deep end about karaoke
Yeah.
songs. Zip up your most expensive red carpet dress and strap in for this episode of Schitt's Creek. Moira spends $3,700 on a dress for the not yet scheduled red carpet event for The Crows Have Eyes 3, which stresses Johnny the hell out as they're already struggling financially. To make matters worse, the motel needs a new water heater, plumbing, and all sorts of other expensive things. Johnny attempts to tell Moira that their spending habits must change, but she barely hears him over the sound of the new dehumidifier. He also attempts to clean the water heater on his own using a YouTube video, which is very relatable content, but also poor Johnny. Meanwhile, Stevie and David are headed to Elm Valley. David thinks they're going to see the cherry blossoms at the botanical gardens, but Stevie has ulterior motives. Apparently, Amir from last episode will be at the exact hotel they're going to, and they're planning on a romantic rendezvous. Yes, also that if you're watching the YouTube video. David is what an elegant gesture, Stuart. David is very upset until he sings some Mariah at karaoke and imbibes in 17 polar bear shots. Amir is late due to a car accident, but it seems like him and Stevie patch things up no problem. Alexis can feel the dislike emanating from Ted's receptionist, Shannon, who went to vet college with Ted. Turns out both Ted and Shannon think they were the one to end things between them after, one date. Ted vehemently insists he's a heartbreaker, but Alexis knows better. And that's our episode of Schitt's Creek, Stuart.
This was a good one. Like there wasn't a particularly strong central plot. Like it felt like another mixture of like perhaps a lot of B plots, but again, solid B plots. I thought these were like all generally really good. I think the one that I was waiting on a little bit was the Stevie part of it, but then David rescued it massively with the whole
Exactly.
karaoke. Yeah, I was a big fan of this one. Where do you want to start?
Ooh, let's start with Moira and her dress.
Hmm.
Now I don't understand how we're 5 seasons into this. Like, again, we're not gonna look at the calendar because we've been told not to, but it's been a long time since they got to Schitt's Creek. How does she
Yes,
possibly think it's okay to spend $3,700 on a dress? A gorgeous dress, and apparently a very good sale from a
stunning.
designer.
Stunning dress.
Yeah.
Because it's the premiere. Like you have to. It's the good luck tradition. Like she's got to
Mhm.
do it. And like they could afford, I mean the car was probably worth just over double what she spent on the dress, which does in when you frame it that way makes it
Yeah.
sound so extravagant, but it's a bargain. It's off the rack. It's not couture. It's not like by a
It's not
designer for
custom.
her. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's a
I
concession.
I love Alexis being like, "Wow, what a bargain." And then David's like, "Oh, but not those shoes, right?" And she's like, "Please, of course not
Yeah.
these shoes." Uh
Mm.
it was gorgeous. It's really just bad all around on Moira. It's like, "Moira, get a grip. Look at Johnny. Look at him." Like
Yeah.
he already has gray hair and stuff, but like his hair might be falling out at this point because of how much stress you're causing him. I just felt bad for him. Like, I don't know. Poor Johnny. He's just doing his best and Moira just keeps spending money over and over again.
Yeah, especially because like he almost immediately like because he was admonishing her for the extravagant spend. Then the moment he heard about the premiere, he was so excited for her as well. So he had a really
Yeah.
sweet moment. I'm
Yeah.
gonna overlook him being a boomer again with the whole fixing of the thing and shouting at his phone and then rapidly tapping it to try and pause it.
Yeah.
That infuriated me so much. I don't know why.
Yeah.
People
Well, it's
being like
because
technophobic is annoying.
he tells the YouTube video to hold on, like,
Yeah.
as if it's gonna hear him, you know? Yeah, and it's a little sad, like, how this just puts Moira in such a good new like mood. Like she's like, it such smears their faint scent of honeysuckle in the air. Like she's so jazzed. It's like, oh my god. Yeah, I just felt bad for Johnny the whole episode because he has Moira spending money they don't have. Roland pretty much just being Roland and like calling him a tightwad and like being like, well, I got you a really great deal on this heater, but you also are gonna have to pay $1 billion to have it installed. Like it's I just felt bad for Johnny this episode. He's trying his
Y-
best, you know?
yeah, he's dealing with a lot of annoyance. Like
And Stevie isn't
Moira,
even there to bear the brunt of any of it.
yeah, exactly. Like he really is handling it all on his own. Yeah, I'm not gonna get too down on Johnny this episode, I think. Because I think like he's gone through it. Like because
Yeah.
Moira is so like I want to forgive away her behavior, like make a joke, be like, well, it's the premiere. She has to like buy it. But like really, she knows the situation. I also was really not a fan of what Moira said about the whole like, oh, well, I think everyone is losing focus of like the mission here. And I was like,
Mhm.
Moira, we're here praising everyone for how they're adjusting to this life and like learning the lesson which is meant to be learned here. You're still clinging on this exit strategy,
Yeah.
and I know that you pine for bigger and better things out there. And she probably is destined for that because Schitt's Creek does not give her the focus that she seems to require all these times. But I don't think it's good for her because it puts
Yeah.
around people like Sebastian Rain for crying out loud. So
Sebastian.
you would hope that maybe she's learnt that lesson, but she doesn't seem to. And so yeah, she's funny and she looks great in the dress, but like this is a bad look for Moira
Yeah.
to like kind of have that be her like thought process now. Like I kind of would have hoped after all this time maybe she'd still be kind of warming to it a little bit. And she
Yeah.
does come around
Well, yeah,
slightly.
it seems like she's gonna return the dress and, like, buy something a little cheaper once they actually have a date, because
Mhm.
she was given, "Oh, probably this year." Uh, she's just so vague. Yeah, it really is hard, especially when you also have Roland pestering Johnny about, like, smoke breaks and
Mhm.
everything, and it's just like, "Roland, go away. Like, just go do something. Go do anything. Do a job. Do something."
It's funny that he's last episode was last episode, wasn't it? No, a few episodes ago, complaining about Johnny taking over his job and like doing too much because Moira's away. And now he's like trying to get out of it. It's like, come on, Roland, you can't have it one way. You gotta do something here. And also, like,
Yeah.
I get the annoyance with smoke breaks. If I'm like, why can't I have a break? Like, why can I not get
Yeah.
that? But I mean, it's the
This
reality
was
of
a
things,
big thing when I
buddy.
worked at a rest area, in, like, food service, is a lot of the people smoked, and I didn't, I never have, and I was always, like, so annoyed because the smokers would get so many breaks to go
Hmm.
smoke, and the non-smokers don't. This is a little
Yeah.
different because no one, as far as we know, smokes at the motel, so I don't know why Roland is complaining, but yeah, this is a real thing, for sure.
Yeah. That's why you've got to be British and have a tea break, because then you get away from it that way. You get up from like whatever you're doing, you go over, you make a cup of tea.
Uh-huh.
It's a little bit of a ceremonial process in the sense of like you've got how you make your tea, like everyone has their own way and things. It's therapeutic. It's a way to get away from it while also not smoking away your life.
Do
Fantastic.
do British offices have, like, teapots? Like, what do you have?
Not
Like,
teapots, no. We have kettles though,
do you
and
have
tea making
kettles?
stations. Yeah.
And you don't have coffee machines?
I did in my last office that I had. But yeah, that was only because of some people insisting upon it and only a
How
select group of
dare
people
they?
using it. But yeah, the standard is like having a kettle. I actually worked at a place that had an urn. There was like a big like vat of like so we'd constantly have like hot water.
An
It was
urn? What
this
what?
disgusting. It's like a big pot that's constantly heated. So rather than having to like
Of
boil a
tea?
kettle, no, for hot water. You
Oh,
make it like the tea fresh every time, but like the hot water would be there all the time. But
got
the problem
it.
is like because we've got really old pipes in the UK, like in
Mhm.
nearer London and things, not particularly up north, but like they all accumulate limescale so much, and so it was disgusting. And it was one of those things of like I know it's disgusting, but if I don't acknowledge it, I can just move on with my life and just continue.
Ew. Yeah, yeah, I've been there, definitely been there.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah, Moira's not doing so hot. Do you wanna bounce to Ted and Alexis or Stevie and David's trip?
Um, I think like maybe because we talked about Stevie and David's trip a bit already with the karaoke, so maybe like kind of handle that.
Mhm.
Firstly, why are they? Because like, how far is Elm Vale? Elm like it
Elm
can't
Valley.
Elm
Um,
Valley like it
I don't
is it?
know. I don't understand why the cloak and dagger routine. Like, I feel like if
Yeah,
Stevie had just said to David, like, "Hey, I'm meeting up with Amir. I'm nervous to go alone because I've only met him once. Like, it's a little weird. I'll pay for your room." You know what I mean? Like, offer him something. I
yeah,
feel like he probably still goes. Like, maybe he's not as excited because, like Stevie was saying, he probably doesn't wanna be third wheel, but it's worse to not tell him and then be like, "By the way, you're gonna be on your own for the botanical gardens," and then make him miss the botanical gardens because Amir is late. Like, all of that I think is way worse than just being honest with David, but maybe Stevie
hmm
is right. Maybe David would just be like, "Mm-mm, I'm not going." 'Cause you have to assume Patrick has to stay behind to man the store.
yeah. But like, if that results in David, having agency and being able to like, have a choice in the matter, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like
Yeah,
this is the worst form of coercion. This is awful.
it's bad.
Like
And
this is
she
a
doesn't
really
even she, like, tells him while they're on the way there, which also feels bad. I don't
yeah.
know, right?
Because like and like isn't Stevie's the one that's driving as well? So it's not even like
He
David
has no
can probably
choice,
like
yeah.
kind of just drive back. This is kidnapping. This is
Definitely.
yeah,
Um, I
outrageous.
also couldn't help but notice so David was even eating, like, store brand, licorice, like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, listen, every once in a while, I'm down for a Twizzler. This is a Twizzlers household, not a Red Vines household. So every once in a while, I'm down for a Twizzler. I don't know how I would be about a store brand Twizzler, though.
Yeah, I've tried red vines. Was not a fan.
Mhm.
I made the mistake. So I was. This is again another really weird tangent. I watched the a very Potter musical back in the day,
Uh-huh.
and the Ron Weasley character was obsessed with red vines and would eat them the whole way through the thing. And so I saw them when I went to a Costco once, and there was a big tub of them. And I was like, "Oh, I like strawberry things. Yeah, let's grab them and I'll give them a try." And then I like bit into one and then realized it was licorice, and I just went, "Oh no!" And I had a whole tub of them I had to get rid of, and no one that I know liked them. And I was like, "This is awful," because they were like really super synthetic and they didn't
Yeah.
taste like sweets over here do. I guess because it was like probably the corn syrupy stuff rather than like the sugar in. It wasn't quite licoricey enough for the people that liked licorice, and it wasn't quite sweet enough for people that like kind of sweets. I could not find anyone that liked the hybrid, and so I just ended up having to like just offer them to so many people that they would have like they deplete the amount that I had from trying them rather than actually giving them to
You
someone.
just one red vine at a time. I will get
Yeah,
rid of these. See, that's the
yeah,
sort of thing that if you do work in an office, you just bring them in and ditch them at the office and hope
yeah.
you're the person that
Oh my
likes them.
god,
That's such
that's a
a great
benefit.
way to
That's
get rid of stuff if you do work in an office.
yeah. That's why I don't bake anymore because I don't go into an office, so I can't like pawn off all of the things that I make onto people. I'm just like, oh, there you
Yeah.
go. I can just leave them there and they'll get demolished. Yeah, now I
Yeah.
have to like go to people. Like, no, I'm not doing that
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so David also talks about a trip he took to Japan once where he specifically went there to see the cherry blossoms, but they weren't in bloom, so he turned around and left.
I love this so much
Oh,
because
that's horrible.
it's like such a spoilt rich kid thing as well. Like
Yes.
turning up, just going, "Ew," and then just turning around, probably
Yeah.
private jetting all the way back as well.
Yeah.
People would kill to go to Japan. Like I'd kill to go to Japan. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's lovely. But yeah, just to imagine being annoyed just at the cherry blossoms is it's such a window into their former life. Of
Yeah.
like, I love these things. They're becoming more sparing. We're not really getting as many of these kind of like callbacks to when they were really kind of spoiled and rich anymore. And so when they do
Yeah.
crop up, it's hilarious because it's a great reminder of where we come from.
Yeah. It's perfect. And also every time I watch this episode, the line from David of, "What am I going to walk around and admire the cherry blossoms alone like some pervert?" I don't know why it kills me so much. Like just calling someone a pervert for walking around cherry blossoms alone is just perfect.
It's so
Yeah.
funny.
It's perfect. And yeah, like I will say David is actually pretty kind like when Amir doesn't show up and like it seems like Stevie may have been stood up. David
Yeah.
is pretty kind. I mean, even though they missed the cherry blossoms, they missed the botanical garden, he's like, "You know what? We're gonna do karaoke. We're gonna drink the night away, and you're paying for drinks."
Yeah, I did like that he still does kind of tease Stevie a little bit, and like when it's clear that Amir isn't turning up, and he's just like, "Is that?" And then like just gestures to anyone walking with legs, and when Stevie's like, "Well, that's rude," and he's like, "Well, have an eclectic. Was it an eclectic taste or a varied
Yes.
taste?"
Yeah.
And it was like, "Well, that's entirely true." Because if you imagine like David and Jake are polar opposites of people, right? And so,
Yeah.
like, clearly Stevie has a very kind of a broad palette when it comes to who she's
Mhm.
willing to date. So, could be. Why is it a judgment, Stevie? Maybe it could have
Yeah.
been.
I think it
But
was
yeah.
because the guy he was looking at was, like, in his 70s or something. Like, it's, like, pretty darn old. Um,
Yes.
but, David does some karaoke with Tammy. He makes very good friends with Tammy. Eventually, Amir does show up, and it turns out that he got into a little bit of a fender bender with a teenager. They accidentally, like, swapped phones, so he wasn't even able to call Stevie because he was late, but he wants to make it up to her by bringing her to dinner. I think this is the right move by David to be like, no, I'm gonna sing here, drink more, stay here, drink more, and sing my ass off with Tammy. Like that was a good. He had to finish his set, you know.
Yeah. I mean, would David have liked to maybe have company. Maybe if David wasn't as drunk as he probably was after 17 polar bear shots,
Yeah.
maybe he would have. But like, I still think that this is a conscious choice from David of like, no. I'm not going to impede upon this. I'm going to be a
Yeah.
friend here.
I don't
Especially, I mean,
understand
we
why
saw it
he
before.
I don't understand why he introduces himself as Dana. Like,
Yeah,
why? What is the point of this?
yeah.
Like,
Could
you're
I guess
Stevie's
it's just
friend.
yeah, I guess. Well, no, because like he introduced as someone that like because Amir turns up and is like, "Are you? Oh, are you with Stevie?" Like I like because he thinks that like Stevie has now met someone at a bar and they're chatting and
Yeah,
stuff.
I guess. I guess
So
the way I
because
looked at it is like,
obviously,
go ahead.
there you go.
I don't think if I'm a mirror and Stevie just says to me like, "Oh, I brought my friend because this is only the second time we've ever met, like out of caution, whatever." Like I wouldn't be insulted if I'm a mirror because that's true. Like you do need to be careful. And maybe that's why David was like playing it off like, "Oh, we're old friends. We just happened upon each other at the bar." But I'm like, "Why change your name to Dana?" What is that doing? Maybe he's just drunk.
Yeah. I think I like flustered certainly in the whole kind of lie of it all because yeah by the time like I mean it turns out they were already a few songs deep, so I imagine a few shots deep as well because obviously
Yeah.
you've got to build up Dutch courage to be able to do karaoke. Like I've never known anyone to be crazy enough to go into karaoke sober.
Yeah.
Yeah, which would be wild. But I think like maybe it's just being flustered. Maybe it's just the opportunity to tell a lie. Some people like that, like the opportunity to tell a lie and
That's
immediately they
true.
jump on it. Maybe it's an aspect of that.
That is
Maybe it's
kind of
because
fun.
they're in a
I like
hotel.
that.
They're just like,
He
feeling
could
the
be
vibe
anybody
of
he
just
wants him to be. Maybe Dana
exactly.
is the person who likes to sing Mariah karaoke. Um,
Yes.
and I did appreciate that when Stevie and Amir do go to dinner, it seems like she does tell him everything. Like she tells him the whole
Yeah.
situation. She tells him who
Well,
David is. Like,
Stevie
good.
can't lie.
No, she
I love
can't.
this. Like it was done in the last one when they go out to the cafe, and it's like blah, it just comes out almost. And it's
Yeah.
like I imagine the exact same things happened here this time,
Yeah.
which is really sweet. It's a really good feature of Stevie that she
Yeah.
can't kind of like lie to someone that doesn't deserve to be lied to.
And the best part is when they return from dinner, David is still doing karaoke because he was going to go to bed, but Tammy kept buying shots, and the whole room got behind me in like a really big way. I have 7 more songs to finish, and some new fans who would be very disappointed if I don't close the show.
Now earlier we were saying about how like if you're doing karaoke, one and done, get it over with. However,
Mm.
if the whole room gets behind you, and if the whole room is what I suspect to be 3 people, because this hotel
It's a
did not
pretty
look
empty
packed,
bar. It's a pretty
yeah,
empty bar.
then I think you've got carte blanche access to do whatever
Oh,
you want.
if the mic is not being occupied and you're
Mhm.
there and there's not many people in the room, by all means, do a full set. You and
Yeah.
Tammy hang out. Like, I thought this was so fun, especially when they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go back to we're gonna have a sleepover," and David's like, "Bleh." He pulls out wrenches, and then he's like, "Oh, Tam, you want some champagne?"
Mhm.
And then when he gets up on stage and he goes, what does he say? "I'd like to dedicate this one to the lovers right over there."
Such chaotic energy. I love it. Because it's like David's gonna be a really good friend. Is gonna like kind of give them the time that they need to like go have dinner and then,
Yeah.
go have something else. But of course, yes, an elegant gesture. But then of course he's gonna do what they do, which is their dynamic of poking each other and like
Mhm.
annoying each other a little bit, which was yeah, so funny. And like Stevie is absolutely anyone that the moment you put attention on the she's not gonna react well to it at all. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, she's like,
hilarious.
"We're out of here."
Yeah,
Can
yeah,
I
yeah.
ask your opinion on Amir now? Now you've met him twice. What are your thoughts on
Hmm.
Amir?
Seems to be a very lovely person.
Paid for all of David's drinks.
Yeah, like again, incredibly lovely. I think the excuse does kind of make sense, although because he doesn't have his phone back. Does
And I'm
he?
sure he doesn't have Stevie's phone number
Oh
memorized.
yeah,
So
that would be
I don't
psychotic.
have anyone's phone number memorized. Well,
Yeah.
I have a few people's phone numbers memorized, but not many.
I've got
It
my
took me
mum's, and
years
she
to
hasn't changed it
memorize
in like
Will's.
20 years. Yeah, exactly. It takes
Yeah, I know
long to
my mom's, my dad's, my brother's, and Will's, but it did take me many years to memorize Will's.
many years. I just like the idea of you for like several years with flashcards, just revising every night.
I think it was more of the immense shame that did it, where it was like I kept getting shamed for not knowing his number. And I was like, fine, I'll put some effort into learning it.
Who's shaming you? Is
I
Will
think
just like
he did. My family
quizzing you
did.
randomly? Just going, what's
He
my
did.
number?
He
And you
did
just
for
go,
a
I don't
while.
know. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's hilarious.
It's really hard for me. Okay. We have different, well, you have area codes, right? How many, okay, this is a dumb question. In the UK, how many numbers are your telephone number? Is it like 7 numbers like ours? Well, I guess it's
God.
10 because you have to include the area code for us.
11 for a mobile number. Wait, trying to
Wait,
work
there's
this out.
different numbers of numbers depending on if you're
Oh no,
what?
it's 11. It's 11 whether it's a mobile or a landline. Yeah.
Oh, I guess ours could be 11 if you have to type like the 1 to like dial out. I don't know what that means, but people say it.
Yes. So like for mobiles, you have to type the full number regardless. So it's like 07 blah 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 blah. And then like for landlines, we have like part area codes, like the bit in brackets that come at the beginning.
Yeah, we have area
Yeah.
codes, which is the same thing. The bit in brackets. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's only for landlines. Yeah.
It's so hard to memorize phone numbers. Listen, like the older you get, the less your brain is like a sponge. And like there's way too much crammed in here for me to remember people's numbers.
There is no need. This is just like all of those times when I was in school and teacher was like, "You're never going to have a calculator on you all the time," and I'm like, let me tell you about this invention that's going to come along in a couple of years called the mobile phone, and I will always have a calculator on me. I will never need to do mental arithmetic in my life.
Can I tell
Maybe
you
for a pub quiz, but that's it.
The only time I'm doing mental math is if I'm shopping and something is like 40% off. I'm like, okay, well, it's like a bit less than half off. Like I'll do like the mental math of like what it costs to buy the thing. If it's you don't have this in your store. You don't have like if you go into a store and they're having like a big sale and they have like a whole rack and like there's a sign above the rack that says like 40% off. Well, the tag isn't going to reflect that. The tag will say like $19.99 and then you have to do the math.
Yeah, I think even with the discount, you'd still get the new discounted amount
on the thing.
Yeah.
Dang, that's nice.
And it would also include the tax.
Okay, I know.
Americans are freaking weird with this.
Because we just want to get away with things. We just want to get away with things. What were we talking about? Phone numbers.
Amir not having Stevie's phone number.
Yes. But yeah, Amir seems like a nice enough guy.
Yeah, he seems like a lovely guy. Awful situation to happen. Probably did happen. I don't think it's the kind of lie that like is masking anything bad. I just don't know enough about him at this moment. But he makes Stevie happy. That's why I like him.
What did you think of this? Okay, so when David goes back up on stage after they're like, we're gonna have a sleepover. Did you see Amir put his arm around Stevie? Like, did you see the way he did? No, you didn't. Okay, so Stevie is standing. I could pull up the. I'm not gonna.
Was there a way?
Okay, so Stevie and Amir are both facing the stage. Stevie is standing in front of Amir. He like wraps his arm like almost kind of like around the stomach / waist area. In my opinion, this is a very intimate like hug.
I mean, they're gonna have a more intimate hug later when they get upstairs. So I guess maybe it makes sense.
Is it weird for me to say that this feels more intimate than sex to me? Like it feels more like relationshipy. Like because sex can just literally just be getting it in, but like this feels like something you do with someone you're dating.
Yeah, I mean, they must be. I mean, Stevie is traveling to go and see Amir, so like they are like this.
It's a long way to go for sex when she could have a pony ride in town.
That is horrendous, Jessica.
Where's the lie?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she absolutely could. And so, of course, like, yes, I think Stevie has hots for him, like big time. Like, she's
Yeah.
smitten. And so, yeah, I think the vibe is there. I think both are probably smitten with each other. I mean, she's traveled a long distance to like see him, so maybe like he feels that sense of intimacy with Stevie already. Yeah, I did
Yeah.
just scrub to it, which is why my internet is just freaked the hell out. And yeah, it's I see what you mean. It's like it's a full like kind of like not a grab, but yeah,
Because, like, if someone that you didn't know did this to you, you'd full on just throw your elbow back at them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
this is not a thing you can't just surprise on people.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe I have problems. We've discovered that this is our therapy for the week. So, this is just me talking out my issues, you know?
We're just billing
Um,
each other.
yes. Okay, let's talk about Ted and Alexis. Because this storyline tickles me. It really does.
I
Um,
love it so much.
Alexis surprises Ted with like some coffee, but then it turns out that it is not the type of coffee that he likes because he likes decaf and whatever. She immediately picks up on some weird energy coming from the assistant Shannon, and she's like, "What's going on? Why does Shannon hate me?" And Ted's like, "Oh, well, we went out a couple times. Like maybe and I ended it. Like I think she's a little sour." I love Alexis confronting this head on. I love the move that she makes. I think she high fives her and then pulls her in close.
Yeah, it was like, what was it like a high five or let's hear it for like working girls in business or something like that being successful. And she just
Yes.
grabs the hand, pulls her, and is just like, okay, right, let's talk about this. And I was like,
Yeah.
gosh, this is like when Alexis refers to herself as like a boss bitch, I'm like, okay, it's very kind of like CEO energy, like the BuzzFeed quotes, it's that kind of like vibe of things. But this is Alexis doing that shit, like, and living it. Like, she is an absolute boss here because she's like, no, I'm just going to take command of the situation. And also to have that insight and self confidence to know that there's something deeper there than just being
Yeah.
disliked. Because, I mean, who dislikes Alexis?
I
No
just
one.
love that. I love that. It makes so much more sense than her not liking me. It's just so
Hmm.
funny. Like, and I love that she's tickled by this, where she's just like, ooh, Dr. Casanova J. Heartbreaker. Like, she's so tickled by this. And I love this storyline mostly because Alexis is 0% jealous. She's 0% threatened. She feels completely at ease with all of
Hmm.
this. And in
Yeah.
a lesser show, in most other shows, Alexis would be extremely jealous and have a big
Yeah.
problem with this. And I love that we get like the back and forth between Shannon and Ted of like who was the one who ended things first and how Ted so badly just wants to be the version of him that was like riding the motorcycle and had a little bit of
Hmm.
stubble. Like he wants to be a badass and he just isn't.
And
It's
but
so
she
sweet.
doesn't want that. Like she's dated the Heartbreakers before, and like that's it's not what she's after.
Yeah.
Um, this for me, I think was just so. I really love this because it's super funny, but it's also kind of when you get to the core of it, it's kind of sweet, and it shows I think all of the characters at their best, and it resolves things in a great way that doesn't rely on tropes, doesn't rely on cliche storytelling. It empowers everyone. Maybe doesn't empower Ted, but it at least reveals Ted a truth, which is that he doesn't have to pretend to like earn Alexis's affection,
Mhm.
which is inherently incredibly sweet.
Yeah.
I messaged you after watching this, and just in all caps, midway through watching it, when he was talking about like hooking up with Shannon and then hooking up with the other
Mhm.
one. And I was like, Ted fucks, just all caps, because
Well,
I was
that
like,
and
he's got game.
I mean, it turns out he had there were a decent string of people in between Alexis and Heather that he dated.
Hmm.
Seems like mostly one-offs. Um and yeah, it's just so sweet. He really, really wants to be this certain guy that he's not. And I love that Alexis is like, that's not who you are. And I don't want
Mhm.
you to be that. I just want that cute little butt. Like she doesn't want him to be a heartbreaker. And
No.
I just love Alexis like making things uncomfortable, but also it helps clear things up and like get clarity for everyone so they can just
Yeah.
build a bridge and get over it. I just clearing the air about that little trip you two took to Pound Town. Like, it's
Oh
like,
my
what
gosh.
the hell?
Alexis was in such, like, I can't even describe it. Like, this kinda, like, just almost like fey trickster kinda, like, energy that she's bringing into it. Like, it's
Yes.
just she wants to cause a little bit of chaos today.
She's
Like,
like a
she's here.
pixie. Yeah.
Yeah, like, she just
Yeah.
wants a little bit of, because, like, he mentions, like, hooking up, and then she's, like, super enthusiastic for him, and she's like, "Oh, yes, you did, you little smooch monster." And it's
I
the
love
way he
her also
says, "Oh,"
saying, I assume this would play out in a much more interesting way.
yeah,
She's like, I'm
like,
actually not entertained by this, so we should stop.
yeah, 'cause she clearly is just looking for a bit of entertainment, like,
Yeah.
clearly. And then being really kind of, like, I guess, sad for him when he goes, "Oh, no, no, it was just a one-time thing." She goes, "Oh, no." Like, she was really enthusiastic for Ted going out there and, like,
Yeah.
hooking up with everyone.
And
So funny, so funny.
the piece de resistance is obviously the falafel pun. I had a lot of
Oh,
fun hanging out with you, and I really falafel saying this over text.
this is this is my favorite character point for Ted, is these puns and just how he shoehorns them in the worst. Like, it's one thing to be really into puns. We all love a pun. But to shoehorn them in the worst times is the
Yeah.
funniest. Like, when you're trying to let someone down over text, probably not the best place for a pun. When
Mhm.
Mutt is talking about leaving and having an argument with Tallahassee,
Yeah.
like, tackle the cones, which isn't too
Yeah.
much fun, but it's one of those stupid jokes. Probably not the best time, but he seems to just pick the worst moments, and that makes it 10 times funnier for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I and he thinks he's being harsh. And the reply he got from this woman was cool! Exclamation point. And then he
Yeah.
walked her dog. It's just
Absolutely, of course he did.
I just love it so much, and I love that again, Alexis is not threatened at all. Like, she can immediately understand what's going on, and it's that Ted was like super kind and nice to all of these women, but he thinks he was like harsh and that he broke their hearts, and he
Mhm.
feels like he did much, much worse things. And I love that Alexis is just like, no, you're just so cute, Ted. Look at you. And he's like, I can
Yeah.
tell you don't believe me by the tone in your voice. So good. Oh, I love their storyline. I just love them so much. They're so sweet and cute. They're the best.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't gush about them enough. Like, I'm so glad they're back together, and
Mhm.
that things aren't as awkward as they were when they first were together, and that there isn't that kind of, like,
Yes.
weird power dynamic. Like, it feels like they're on an even keel here.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it's great. Such good vibes.
Yes. Okay. Anything else from this episode, Stuart, you want to get into before we jump into our ratings?
Not that I can think of. I think we've covered it pretty exhaustively, despite meandering off into different areas quite a lot.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into our ratings here. Simply the best. Interesting episode to try to decide who should be getting an MVP point, Stuart. Do you have some contenders in mind?
Yeah, I mean, David, clearly, for being a very good friend, and providing a lot of the humor. Um, Johnny, for putting up with a lot of the crap that he's been putting up with.
Yeah.
Um, but I think I'm gonna go with Alexis, because she made me laugh the most. Like, David was really funny, and I think between them, on the comedy side of things, it was like neck and neck. But, like, I think it was just the move of just bringing Shannon in and getting to the root of it, rolling like a nat 20 on insight, and then also charming the pants off of Shannon while also teasing Ted and stuff. Just a class move. Yeah, I think she
Yeah.
gets my MVP this week.
I'm in complete agreement. And the
Yeah.
the other point in her favor too is the fact that she's like, "Oh yeah, me and Shannon are gonna get drinks." Like she's like
Yeah.
even gonna go make friends with this woman. Like it is again, a lesser person would be jealous and be like, F Shannon, she sucks. Like, Alexis isn't like that. And I love that about her this episode. I think it's so, I just love that cute little butt. Like, I love her so much. She's so funny. She's so sweet in this episode. So yeah, I am also going to give my MVP point to Alexis.
Yay.
Disgruntled Pelican point. I mean, the thing is, I can't argue that it should go to anyone but Moira. Like, spending $3,700 that you don't have on a dress for a red carpet appearance that may not even happen. Like, there's not even a date on it. And you're already spending this much on a dress. Like, it was a gorgeous dress, but like, you simply don't have the money. And it just felt like she was completely oblivious to like poor Johnny this entire episode and like what he's going through. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I could jokingly give it to Roland for his annoyance about the smoke breaks, but as someone who's been there, even though no one smokes at, the motel, I kind of get it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, Moira, but you kind of deserve it.
Wow. See,
It's
I
true.
was kind of thinking a point in Moira's corner, for me at least, is knowing where she ordered it from. So Harrods is the bougiest of department stores over here in London, and they sell disgustingly expensive things. And so for her, not only to find a dress for $3,700, but also to find a promo code for Harrods. I mean,
That did crack me up. Yeah, the way
that's
she
the
said
dark
promo
arts.
code also was like
Yeah.
very funny.
You found a promo code.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, Moira had a stinker of an episode. Roland also had a very bad one. The whole like, oh yeah, do you need it fitted? Like, of course. Like, why wouldn't you need that kind of done? I think also maybe Johnny, despite also being up for MVP, the boomer thing with the phone. Like, come on, buddy.
That's
Like,
worthy of a point. He sucks at technology. How much are we going to penalize him for it?
I work in tech. It infuriates me. Um, and also Stevie for like
Yeah,
coercing David. Like
that's bad.
Stevie has some good lines in this episode, and isn't a bad person per se, but like it's not a cool look. But ultimately, yeah, I'm gonna agree. I've got to give it to Moira as well because the whole the ordering of the dress thing I can kind of forgive. She's in old habits and things like that. And the buying of the dehumidifier as well was just so absurd after that conversation. But the
It
thing
was
that annoyed,
huge. I've never seen such a massive dehumidifier and a loud
yeah,
one too.
yeah, isn't some industrial shit as well. So like, but the thing that really annoyed me most was the fact that she still wants to leave Schitt's Creek, and I'm like, I don't want that. Like,
Mhm.
Moira, come on, please.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna agree there.
Poor Moira, but you know what? She did it to herself. As beautiful as she looked in that dress, and she did. She looked gorgeous. And I love
Oh
Johnny
yes.
being like, oh, Moira. Like he was
Hmm.
like, he thought she was so
He
beautiful.
loves
It was so
her.
sweet. It was so sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. It is time for us to tier rank the episode this season. Going strong so far, a few episodes in. But we need to decide where we want to put the dress, Stuart.
This is a tough one. I feel like it's had some really good moments, but also not moments like I can't see myself really going back to rewatch this one episode specifically,
Mm-hmm.
which I feel like for a lot of the hot shit episodes, those are the ones that I do kind of gravitate towards.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
I think it's better than the
pile.
plant. Like, if I'm gonna
Yes.
like to
Yeah.
start off, I feel like it's better than the plant. My
Hmm.
question is, does it belong in full bouquet over Love That Journey for me? Because if we're taking all three storylines, the Johnny Moira stuff is like, it's fun, it's whatever. Like, I think it's more average. I think the David part of the David Stevie stuff is hilarious. And
Yes.
I really do like the Alexis Ted stuff. So that makes me think like maybe it is slightly above average, which would put it full bouquet.
Yeah, I can agree with that, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, because I feel like yeah, the Alexis thing is enough to like bring it up. So it's not like because I'm thinking like Johnny Moira. not necessarily a stinker, but it doesn't like go in its
Yeah.
favor. Alexis absolutely does take it in its favor. And then the David and Stevie really is like a 50-50. So it's kind of
Mhm.
like it does settle on that average. But I think Alexis' stuff just tips it over.
Yeah.
So
And the
I think if there's
falafel
any,
pun.
put it in hot shit for that.
I do think this is where it belongs. I think it's a good episode. I don't think it's like an amazing episode, and it wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me if inevitably it falls to the lower end of full bouquet, like when other
Mhm.
episodes get slotted in. I think that's
Yeah.
probably where it will end up falling. But it is a good episode,
Oh
as
yeah.
most episodes of this show are. But Stuart, do you want to hear what next week's episode is titled?
Desperately.
Season 5, episode 5, Housewarming.
Patrick's moving out. Patrick's moving out. They're gonna have a housewarming party. And it's gonna be fun. Yes,
I
I hope they get
do
drunk.
remember this episode based on the title, which usually
Oh
means good
really?
things.
Oh yes.
Usually that means like I'm excited because let me just skim. I oh, this is a great episode. This is a great
What?
episode.
You
I'm very
can't.
excited.
Okay,
We're gonna get
let's
off
wrap
the
this up
podcast
so
and
I
then
can
you can
watch
watch
it. Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you can't give me that reaction. I just like, oh,
It's
if
a good
you
one.
prolong this outro, I'm gonna be furious, Jess.
Huh, what else do I have to say about this episode? No, I'm really excited for next week. We like there are many episodes as I'm looking at the titles for the rest of the season. I feel like this season warms up, but then it's like off to the races. Like I'm looking
Ooh.
at some of these episodes and I'm like, yes, that one. Yes, that one. Which also
Oh,
explains why
interesting.
most of our all of our guests are in the back half of this season.
Yeah, I noticed that with the schedule. They're all like,
Yeah.
I want the later episodes. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, this season is great. All seasons are of the show, but there are specific episodes that I think are going to be really, really fun. So, yeah, next week, season 5, episode 5, housewarming. In the meantime, if you just need some people to be sad with about The Last of Us, go check out Look for the Light. We won't spoil anything, obviously, but like, I feel like I don't know how a person could exist in this world for the last few days and not know what's going on The Last of Us, but maybe it's just me.
Yeah, it's consumed my entire life this week.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
pretty profound, significant episode has aired. One of the I would say a very kind of like cultural zeitgeisty type episodes.
Yeah.
If you remember like peak Game of Thrones era, it's that kind of vibe. And yeah, we cover it in Look for the Light. We go over it in a full deep dive. Doesn't spoil anything for like the ongoing story or the games. We keep all that stuff to the end. So if you're looking for like some guiding hands to escort you through this potentially traumatic episode,
Mhm.
yeah, we're there. So yeah, check out Look for the Light Pod on all your podcatchers.
Yeah. And of course, don't forget to follow us at Talking Shit. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, everyone. We're
Yeah.
still trying to get to 200, and we still plan on doing something that isn't waterboarding when we get there. So the quicker you get us there, the sooner something funny will happen. And everybody wants that.
Send in your feedback. Don't forget, like, if you've got suggestions for what we could do for 200, like, email it in. It's podcast at
Yes.
talkingshit.com. Or leave a review, and we have to read that what your suggestion is.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yes. Okay, Stuart, I think that's everything we have. So until next time, everyone, warmest regards.
And best wishes.
Tweet us on Facebook or leave us a review and you say, yeah, okay, I think I will.